Back with another one. You know what? I wasn't going to report on Diddy. I was going to be like breaking news about Petey, but it's not breaking news. But he was arrested. And the reason why I'm reporting on it is because he was denied bond yesterday. But his lawyers came back that he would put up his Miami house, $48 million, wear a tether, and won't have any female visitors. And he'll wear an ankle monitor. Hell, well, he can't have no visitors, male or female, because it don't matter which, because he go every which way but loose. You understand? But now they saying that his life is in danger. I figure because he gonna talk. Who can he implement? Jay-Z? Because R. Kelly already told everybody it's not just him, it's others. Jay-Z next. I mean, I'm just saying, but I don't think I believe he gonna be unalive. I really do. I don't think he gonna make it. I said he was gonna do it to himself, but no, he ain't gonna make it out of this. And he know too much stuff, and he gonna talk just like his daddy did when he snitched on all them drug dealers. So he gonna tell it. Ain't no telling what's gonna come out. But I don't think he gonna make it out of this, and I do not believe he will live. Point blank. Period. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on what you think. What do y'all think? But I'm gonna go ahead and read his indictment. I know everybody else has done it, but I'm not gonna read the whole 15 pages. Oh, wait a minute. This was the wrong one. I thought this was. Oh, I pulled the wrong one. What was this file? This say May 21st. Now you know that's the wrong one. I needed that was for Crystal. Well, I'm just gonna play a video on the paperwork overview. How about that?
P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, like that, or even to this, A. Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, aka No Diddy. No, I'm just playing. They ain't say that. Man, taking P paperwork I got sent to me this morning. Once again, it's public information. You can look it up. I probably could have shared my camera and made some freaking like Zoom thing, but I didn't feel like doing that, so I'm just gonna read you the paperwork, man. So this is Sean Combs, aka P Diddy, Puff Daddy, conspiracy charges. The grand jury charges. Overview. 1. For decades, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, the defendant, abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. So let's go ahead and stop right here. Listen, these are serious charges. Conspiracy, for those of you who don't know, conspiracy is one of the most difficult charges to beat in the federal government.
Surely
Conspiracy is pretty much just like hearsay, and all they need is just a valid phone call, a valid text, a
That's a
valid
fact.
witness statement, and man, they can hang people for conspiracies. So
And it was no
honestly, man, like I already
conspiracy.
mentioned, this has been this
George.
media for going
Oh
on.
shoot. George Bush put conspiracy into law in in the early 90s. He did that. Racketeering and all that had been there for the mafia, and Rico was there for the mafia. But now they done tied it to gangs and drug dealers. But conspiracy was for the drug dealers, and you can thank Senior George Bush for that worked against us as well.
Over a year, there's been a lot of high corporate entities in the Combs business include, amongst other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network and media company. Point three, at all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, I'm going to skip all the AKs. I'm tired of reading that. The defendant engaged in a persistent and persuasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. This is crazy, dog. For those of you who aren't already thinking what I'm thinking, those tapes, you know what I mean? I'm thinking as a criminal, right?
That's why he gonna be on the line. He ain't making all of this. And look, it ain't true if it ain't on TMZ. So I'm about to play you what TMZ just said, that his life is in danger. But I just want to go. I was gonna read.
You know what I mean?
I was gonna read this myself, but I like this young man. He seemed to be kind of handsome, so I'm gonna let him read this, and I'm gonna scroll through.
Always on the lives, I'm always gonna talk about trending topics pertaining to media, but I don't want people to ever get it twisted. This channel is not like a channel that's trending news. All we're gonna talk about, you got the king as well. Let's get back to the paperwork. All right. So, at times, Combs and others acting in this direction made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly to Combs' location. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation and violence. Dang. That's what the media's been talking about. That's what everybody's been saying. And we see it clearly right here in the paperwork, man.
And that's true.
Man, how come I don't see no comments in the chat, man? Not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses to his abuse, and others. Once again, this is the real legal documentation of the federal indictment that's pending against P. Diddy, Sean Combs, right now. Point five. Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, etc., the defendant used the Combs business, including certain employees, to carry out, facilitate, and cover up his abuse and commercial sex. Those employees, including security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors and other close associates, acted as Combs intermediaries, and their conduct was facilitated and assisted by Combs' control of the Combs business. So if you don't know what that means, obviously it's clear about all the people working for him and everyone that
they gonna be indicted,
who was actually facilitating, participating, and condoning in the alleged crimes against P. Diddy. So what does that mean? I'm sure there's going to be continual arrests in this case.
Exactly, because the attorney general said yesterday that this is an ongoing investigation, and they gonna talk. Yes, they are. They gonna talk. I like this young man.
Seal the deal and extremely, find him guilty because they know he's a multimillionaire, probably a billionaire, and they know he's got a lot of money to fight his case, so they therefore need all the witnesses, all the statements, all the testimonies they can against him in court. All right. So point six, the Combs Enterprise. From at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka all the other stuff, the defendant and others known and unknown were members and associates of a criminal organization. That's what the
That's a
racketeering
fact.
comes in.
That's the RICO. That ain't
That's what the
racketeering. That's the
racketeering comes
RICO.
in.
No,
Whenever
that's
you
the
got
RICO.
business owners or entrepreneurs or millionaires and wealthy people who have multiple businesses, or like there's the Combs Enterprise is literally his business. They are therefore now staking the claim, the government is, that was a criminal organization, which makes this racketeering.
I could be
That's why they
wrong.
gotta make that claim. Members, members and associates of the Combs Enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. So again, what this means, I see the comment, why the light tuna? Man, it's the chain gang not paraphernalia, it's the chain gang memorabilia back there, man. So if you don't know what this means right here, once again, this is all legal documentation. This was just released from the federal the most amount of time, or at least a couple high people who are like the people in charge. And they're definitely gunning for Diddy, obviously. Point 7. The Combs Enterprise, including its leadership, its members, and its associates, constituted an enterprise as defined by Title 18, United States Code, Section 1961-4, that is a group of individuals associated in fact, although not a legal entity. Combs Enterprise consisted of Sean Combs, all the AKAs, the defendant, entities with the Combs businesses, including but not limited to Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global, individuals employed by and associated with the Combs business, and others known and unknown. Dang, bro. And honestly, dog, like I mentioned already before, the reason why I don't like talking about like stuff in the media, number one, because I like to share my personal experiences in prison. You know what I mean? And other people's stories. And mainly, dog, like I like to highlight the underdog stories, the redemption stories, and how God used incarceration to train and racketeering. I hate to say it, but they're probably gonna arrest a lot of people attached
Facts.
to him and his businesses.
Yep.
During this time frame, like I already mentioned, for the
Yes, they are going to. Yes, they are. Yes, they are going to. Yes. They said he ran a criminal enterprise. Anybody working for him, yes, they coming for you. But look, I wanted to get in TMZ because, like I said in the beginning, I don't think he gonna make it out of this alive. I really don't. This TMZ, because it ain't true unless it's on TMZ. Diddy life in danger behind bars. Former MDC Brooklyn warden claims Diddy should watch his back in prison because a former warden at the facility he's in he's in he's in there with a whole lot of inmates who would see killing him as a badge of honor. As you know, Diddy's currently being held at MDC Brooklyn, a notorious federal detention facility in New York City, without bail. But now, like I said earlier, his attorneys want to put up $58 million, the house in Miami, where he wear an ankle bracelet and no female visitors. He don't need no visitors because he go every which way, up, down, all around. So that part. Oh my God, what happened here? Okay. I don't know what happened with TMZ. Sources with direct knowledge tell us Diddy's being held in the special housing unit away from the general population. Cameron Lindsay, former warden of MDC Brooklyn, tells TMZ Diddy's location in SHU makes sense because he's a target behind bars. With his celebrity status and the nature of the allegations against him, potentially bringing him unwanted attention from other inmates. In fact, Lindsay claims some would consider killing the mogul a badge of honor. That is a fact. So prison officials want to minimize access to the star. I think he's gonna wind up unalive anyway, tell you the truth. In SHU, Lindsay says Diddy's lifestyle will be heavily regimented with just 1 hour rec time per day, 3 showers a week. We're told family and friends will be allowed to visit periodically, while his lawyers will have more access to work on his case. A day in the life of Diddy, Cameron says he will receive a 6 a.m. wake up call, at which time he would need to make his bed, mop the floor, and keep his cell clean. We're told he'll receive 3 meals per day, adding up to 1,800 calories daily, all of which will be prepared early and will wait in a warming box for them to be given to him since he's not in general population, meaning the lackluster prison food won't be particularly fresh when he receives it. It's going to be nasty anyway. He got money, he'll have snacks. Y'all better put money on his books and get him snacks up in there. Diddy has access to commissary where he can buy smaller goods like candy, coffee, tea, cheese, also larger items like sweatpants, sneakers, and a radio. James Kasoris, that sounds like Greek name, attorney to Robert Casanova, who spent time in MDC Brooklyn before he was sentenced to 188 months last year for racketeering, tells TMZ conditions in the prison are even more dire than they sound. Sources says regular fights and assaults break out in prison itself. And in SHU, Diddy will have very limited amount of access to library and phone. JK says it's harder for visitors to come and see people in SHU because it takes a long time to get up there, and the prison doesn't allocate more time. So even with regular visitation, Diddy will still likely not see much of his family. All in all, it sounds like Diddy will be living a pretty isolated life. So was he denied bond today? Let's see. Because it ain't true unless it's on TMZ. Diddy judge throws out. Oh, remember when I reported on the guy from the Michigan prison that won $100 million judgment by default on Diddy because he didn't show up in his attorneys? Well, a Michigan judge, Diddy judge throws out the $100 million judgment in battle with Michigan inmate. Diddy's got a small reason to smile despite being Diddy's got a small reason to smile despite being behind bars in federal custody. A judge just set aside the 100 million default judgment in his Michigan sexual assault case. Oop, I ain't supposed to say that on YouTube. I'm sorry. I forgot. In that groping case. My bad. I'm sorry. The embattled rapper scored the legal win during a motion hearing on Wednesday, where his attorney David Fink convinced the judge to set aside the massive judgment because inmate Derek Lee Cardello Smith, that's the inmate that won the judgment, who claims Diddy drugged and SA'd him at a 1997 Detroit party, failed to prove he effectively served the lawsuit in accordance with Michigan law. Judge Anna Marie Anazon also scraped the temporary restraining order stopping Diddy from selling off any assets to cover damages, noting Diddy has a likelihood of winning the case on statute of limitations grounds because Cardello Smith claims to date back to 1997. With the default judgment set aside, the case will now proceed like any other lawsuit. Well, I don't know how it's going to proceed. He locked up now. Diddy's next expected step would be to file a motion to dismiss the case entirely. As reported, Diddy didn't file an answer to Cardell Smith's lawsuit, which is why the judge originally handed the inmate the $100 million um, as, uh, judgment that he asked for. Look, if it ain't on TMC, all right, here we go with the bill. Diddy, like I said, it ain't true if it ain't on TMZ. Diddy, I promise no female visitors so if you let me out on bail. He don't need no male visitors either. He go every which way but up. Federal prosecutors have fired back, responding in court documents that claim Diddy is just too dangerous to be off walking the streets, no matter what the rap mogul's lawyers say. As prosecutors point out, Diddy repeatedly obstructed justice during the investigation. Not to mention, is still an alleged flight risk. They claim Diddy is capable of coercing witnesses to comply with his demands. They also voiced concerns that Diddy could consume drugs or throw his so called free parties if out on bail, despite the rapper's promise he wouldn't have any female visitors. Diddy is taking another swing at getting out on bail. He's upping his offer to the court, declaring he will forego contact with almost all women while he's out. In docs obtained by TMZ, Diddy's legal team says if he's released on bail, the security company that keeps a log of all visitors to his Miami Beach home will hand over those logs to the government nightly in order to be fully transparent about who Diddy is in contact with. They also say Diddy will limit all visitors to family, property caretakers, and friends who are not co conspirators in the federal indictment. Specifically, they say Diddy will restrict female visitors, with only exceptions being family members or mothers of his children. Clearly, Diddy and his attorneys are attempting to address the court's concerns that he would contact or intimidate witnesses. Further, Diddy also states in the docs he will have no contact with known grand jury witnesses, and he's also agreeing to weekly drug testing. His drug use is a central component of the indictment and alleges his freak off sex parties were fueled by cocaine, ketamine, GHB, that's that date raping drug, MDMA, ecstasy, and other narcotics. Plus, the feds say they found drugs in his New York City hotel room when he was arrested on Monday. Damn, Diddy! Diddy's financial offer remains the same in the new bail package. 50 million secured by his Miami mansion and his mother's home. Ooh, I know his mother's home. As reported, Diddy was remanded into custody after yesterday's hearing and is now being held at MDC Brooklyn, where he'll remain pending his trial unless the new judge grants bail. Oh shoot, they got a. Let me see. Wait a minute. Is this a clip? Wait a minute. This is a clip of his arrest.
With FanDuel Casino's Play It
Oh wait a
Again,
minute.
new players get up to $1,000 back in
They got to
casino
play the
bonus on any
commercial.
first day net loss. So go for a spin. Choose from hundreds of slot games like Cash Eruption and the Buffalo Gold Collection. Play one-of-a-kind exclusive games you can't find anywhere else, like FanDuel Gold, Gronk's Touchdown Treasures, and more. Or head to the Felt and try your hand at table games.
You got to do the commercial. This is a shame.
FanDuel's
Come
live dealer
on.
studio lets you play with are violence towards women. He has a lot of money to run these sex parties. He's not going to be really able to overcome that as easily. Now, the flight risk, you can say, here's my passport. I'm not going to go international. I'm not going to try to dodge justice. But you really have to satisfy both elements. And the U.S. Attorney is saying, this guy's a present danger. He's been doing this.
Oh, I didn't know it was the same thing that I.
We've collected a
Oh
lot of
my
evidence,
God, how do I
and we
stop
don't want him on the
this?
streets while we're prosecuting this case. Now, Diddy's attorney is claiming that Diddy knew this was all going down, and he let.
Right. So again, he said no female visitors, 50 million, put a 50 million plus his mother house, plus his Miami mansion. Um, no female visitors, weekly drug testing, all this on bill. What y'all think? Should they let him out? No contact with the co with the people, the witnesses in the federal case. What y'all think? Should he go? Should he get bail? That's the question. Should he get bail? That's the thing. So that's the update on P. Diddy that I have so far. So far, he's still in there. But like I said before, I really do. I really don't think he's gonna make it out of this one because TMZ already said his life in danger, like I just said, and some people are very scared with what he's gonna release because he's gonna tell on Jay Z, on whoever. I'm sure it's politicians that's scared. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it out of this. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment.